So hi everybody and welcome back to another video from the Football Stop. I'm delighted today to be joined by Dan from Sports Cards UK. Welcome to the channel, Dan. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, thank you. And yourself?
Excellent. I'm really good, thank you. Yep. I'm going to start by saying a big congratulations to you, actually. For those of you that do follow the Football Stop, you'll have seen that I did the Football Stop Soccer Card Awards for 2020. And one of the awards was for Best Social Media Influencer, if you like, within the soccer card hobby. And Sports Cards UK, Dan was the person that got the most votes. So Dan, massive congratulations for that. Well deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I was completely overwhelmed by it. I was really happy. It was on New Year's Eve as well. It's made my New Year's Eve. I got the champers out. I was like, yes, I was really happy. So I wasn't expecting it at all. I really wasn't. So yeah, no, obviously big thank you to you for coming up with that idea. I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, appreciate obviously all the votes that I got as well. Yeah, very humbled by that. Yeah.
Well deserved, mate. I think just your kind of like profile across multiple channels has been brilliant throughout 2020, and myself included, learned from it, enjoyed it. So yeah, well done. And fingers crossed that maybe Tops or Panini or Forterra, if you're listening to this, no pressure, but we'll move the awards to your location and you can take responsibility for that going forward.
Yeah, that'd be good, and you could be in it as well then, at least.
We'll see what happens. I'm sure, like, hopefully we can get some like dances, some fireworks, make it a bit more extravagant. So I suppose as I always start when I'm speaking to people in the hobby, what is it that got you interested in sports cards in the first place? And ultimately, because you're Sports Cards UK, what is your sport? I'm sure everyone's dying to know. Are you a footballer, American football background? What, basketball? What is it?
Yes. Yeah, my sport has been football. My biggest love is football and has always been football. My content recently has been a lot about football, I think, and a lot of I suppose the people that follow me from the UK probably follow me for majoritarily the football content I produce. So I'm glad that my favorite sport is the one that seems to do well, and is the one that tends to be the most talked about across the hobby, I think. So yeah, football is my number one sport. I've never played American football. I've just taken an interest in it. Basketball, I've always been too short. I'm about 5'9", 5'8", 5'9". So yeah, you won't catch me on a basketball court anytime soon. But I did actually start with basketball, funnily enough, and then moved into football as soon as I heard there was a kind of a collector. I've always been a football collector, but as soon as I suppose when I started my channel, it was more to do with the kind of the investing side of things. And I hadn't, in early March, I don't think football was quite there yet. I don't think people were necessarily thinking about football investing when I started my channel. Maybe, I'm sure there was always people out there that were doing all the vintage stuff, and I talked about it in a sort of a podcast I did recently where I had the 2006 World Cup sticker book, and I had all of the stickers separate, and then a sort of a completely clean book. And I bought that years and years ago because it was the first book I completed as a kid, but the completed book is so mangled and battered and bent, and there's creases all over it, and all the stickers are in there, but it's in such bad condition. So I just decided off the whim, because I thought, and I never thought about it as kind of I thought about it as an investment, but it was more just to kind of preserve a nicer version of that first book that I completed. And then in March, I actually ended up taking the Messi and the Ronaldo stickers from that, and then just sent them off to PSA. So it's kind of like, it's kind of me going from the sort of collector side to the investor side. So I still like to collect all the albums and stuff, but I suppose Panini stickers is really where everything started. But in terms of the channel, it was originally basketball.
That's, yeah.
Sorry, that was the longest answer ever there.
No, that's
went on a bit, but
I think it's good, and I think something that people maybe don't do enough in the hobby, from my perspective, is people follow our accounts but don't actually know us as individuals and what our backgrounds are and things like that. So it's actually really good to know how you kind of got into it. And like most Europeans, it's from a Panini sticker collecting background. And 2006, what a great collection that is to have and get hold of again. Anyway, something that I've always kind of wondered about is, if you've been involved in basketball cards and that kind of investing things, obviously that kind of the growth in basketball was way before we've seen for football, we've seen for soccer.
Hmm.
Even from a UK perspective, did you get much learning from what happened in basketball, and have you been able to apply that to soccer at all? Because that's something that I've completely I've not been involved in basketball, so
Hmm.
I've always thought, oh, I kind of wish I'd seen how did is it Luka Doncic, and how did all these
Yeah.
stars kind of grow, and what was it that influenced them, that growth?
Yeah, Luka Doncic was a huge one from, I mean, he's a European guy as well, so it was interesting to see him kind of come into the league and flourish. And he was only a rookie, I think 18, 19 season, so not even that long ago. I mean, we're talking a couple of years ago, and his cards are just absolutely blown up. I suppose one thing that is different is that with the American sports, they have the whole rookie side. They have the draft system.
Yeah.
So the Americans have a huge advantage, those that follow the college football and the college basketball games, is that they already know who the best guys are coming
Yeah.
before they've even got into the NBA. Whereas with football, we don't really have that. We have academies, but I don't think people really follow the academies too much unless the younger guys are in international competitions, like if you've got the under 21s World Cup or under 17s, or but even then, I don't really follow those too religiously. So I think watching watching the draft, seeing which of the you can watch the draft before the cards are coming out, so you can kind of get an idea of who you're going to invest in before the product comes out, um, which is interesting. But I think lessons learned, I don't think there's really um, too many things that are really that different. I would say I'd say in NBA, one good game for someone can dramatically change their cards, whereas I think in football we don't see that as much.
Mm.
We do see it, but not on the scale that you do in basketball. So there was a player that called Bol that no one was particularly
Yeah, I
interested
heard
in
about
that
this one.
much. Yeah, and he ended up just rebounding it. He's about 7 foot, ran the length of the pitch, and then just shot a 3-pointer, which no one would expect someone who's 7 foot to shoot a 3-pointer after a rebound. They'd either pass it off or they go for maybe a dunk or a layup or something like that. And his cards just exploded overnight. And I haven't yet seen that in football. I mean, I think with football, it's just kind of like people know who's good already, and then
Yeah.
the good performances are just a bonus, really. But I don't think there's anyone that would maybe score a hat trick overnight and then someone would just those cards would blow up in the same way. But I think that's purely just because there's so many leagues to focus on.
Yeah.
There's so many games. There's so many things happening at once. Whereas in NBA, it's more of a sort of a smaller bubble of 30 teams and games on every other night. Not all games are played on at once, kind of thing. But yeah,
That's very interesting. And yeah, I heard of is it Bobo? I don't is
Bowl
it
Bowl. Yeah,
Bobo.
BOL. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
heard about it. I actually saw someone tweeting about that the other day, almost like in tears at the fact that they paid so much for a PSA 10. I believe
yeah,
that the value's probably dropped or something now. Um,
yeah.
so this was one of the questions I asked in the Sports Cards Awards, and I just thought it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on it. So, what was your favorite product of the last year? So, 2020 season or 2000. If you want to make it a sticker collection, it can be like 2019, 20. Take it as you will.
I would say I would exactly agree with how the awards went. I'd say Panini Chronicles was my favorite for a card collection. Um, and I would say the Football 2020 sticker collection was probably my favorite and one that I actually finished. Um, the UEFA Champions League was a bit of a banger in the 1920 season because you had Haaland, you had Szoboszlai, you had loads of players that you had rookies within that year that a lot of people were collecting.
Mm,
A lot more last year than you seem to have in the current season.
yeah, yeah,
Camavinga and whoever else, or Camavinga wasn't in it. But you're looking at a lot of second years this season, whereas a lot of their first years were 1920. And I think because 1920 there was the start of Panini Prism and there was the start of Panini Chronicles. It was kind of like every Tom, Dick, and Harry was a rookie, so there was just so many rookies to collect. Whereas I think now, as we go into into future years, there won't be as many rookies as there was in 1920. So I think 1920 kind of be looked back on and just think, wow, think how many rookies
What
are
a
actually
year.
in that set
Yeah.
that were really, really good, that were worth collecting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think what was it about Chronicles? Like just thinking about that, because like I was lucky enough to get my hands on a pack and open it, and it was really good fun.
Yeah.
But what was it that you really liked about that product?
So I'd say Panini Prism was my favorite until Chronicles came out, and I just like the variety of Chronicles.
Mm,
I like receiving the cards from different leagues, from La Liga and Serie A. I like the card designs. I didn't particularly like the base cards, like Prestige from Serie A, and
yeah,
what was the other one from La Liga?
I can't
Um,
remember that.
I can't
Absolute
remember what it's called
was it
now. Yeah,
absolute?
maybe, yeah. But then I did like the XR cards from Serie A, and I did like the contenders cards that they had in La Liga. So they kind of had a bit of everything. And I think from someone that collected basketball prior, all of the sets were the same. So I think people that had previously collected basketball or NFL, we were already familiar with contenders. We were already familiar with Prism. We were already familiar with Optic and Don Russ. Optic actually on Don Russ, they had the 2018-19 set, didn't they? But it was really nice to see all of those cards designs, but for football and soccer that we hadn't yet seen before.
Yeah,
Um, so I think it was the variety. I think the price point was exactly right. I think Panini really fell off with the Select with how much they charged with that. So that was probably one of my least favorite products that they came out with.
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I just think the price point for Chronicles was good, and I think opening up a cello pack, if you could get it at retail for something like £20 or £18, it's like a pack where you're guaranteed to make your money back. Like it's really difficult to not make £20 back off a Chronicles pack, because you're going to
yeah,
get
yeah.
at least one thing that's decent, whether it's from Serie A, whether it's from La Liga and Premier League. And they all had good rookies that were worth collecting. In the
Yeah.
Serie A, you had Tonali, Sposito, you had La Liga, you had loads of good players in there as well. You had Rodrigo, Fati, and then obviously the Prem, there was quite a few, Greenwood, that you could chase, and Mason Mount, and
I was going to say
the
Greenwood obviously
update
was
cards as well
huge. Yeah.
were good, because
Mm.
they did Panini Prism before, but a lot of rookie cards were actually left out. And then Chronicles, they did the update and put in new players like Saar and Mount that people wanted to see originally. So
Yeah, I was
I
really
just think they
hoping to
got
get hold of
everything
that.
right. I don't think they just didn't miss. I thought with that particular product.
No, completely agree. Great product. Talking about the Prism updates in it, I was really hoping to get a mount, and I got Jay Rodriguez, sadly, which is no longer with me. I'm hoping it's gone to a Burnley fan that is in greater need than I am of of that card.
Yeah,
But yeah, fantastic collection, wasn't it? And driven almost as well by the fact that Greenwood got so much hype
yeah.
over the summer. Like Panini couldn't have got it any better, really, or whether it was luck or judgment, who knows? But it
Mm.
certainly worked well. Um,
Was that
so
your favorite set then? Just to ask you the question, just to fire
yeah,
it back at you.
it probably was, to be honest with you. So the two big ones that I managed to get my hands on were that and Bundesliga.
Yeah,
And like you said, for exactly the same reasons, the variety of the leagues was fantastic. The first cards of the likes of Mason Mount, Mason Mount, Greenwood. The autographs you could pull in it, yeah, just really really cool. And I love the artwork on what they called. Not, is it Pitch Kings? No,
yeah. Pitch Kings, yeah.
yeah, the Pitch Kings cards. Like I still think they're really underrated. I just think they're really good looking
Mm.
cards. They remind me a little bit of the Color Blast cards. Am I saying right?
Yeah,
In Prism,
in Prism, yeah.
and I still don't think they get enough love personally. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I'd say I
Yeah.
completely agree. That's my favorite as well of the year.
They do a similar thing in basketball called Court Kings, and the designs are sort of fairly similar. And Court Kings is a premium product, so, or this year at least it was. So it kind of bodes well for the Pitch Kings cards as well, because the
Mm,
Court Kings cards did come from a premium set. It was quite expensive to get your hands on one of those boxes this year. For the sort of the small packs, you get one pack in a box, and the box would cost you a decent amount of money. So I think those are underrated as well. I think the
yeah.
Greenwood's taken a bit of a dip, but I'm sure that will go up when he gets older, or kind of gets a better run of form maybe.
Yeah, I agree. And we should probably end this call, go straight on eBay and buy them all, because after this, I'm sure
Yeah, yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens. I always think that.
yeah.
but yeah, that's definitely for me, that gets it. So next question, in 2020, what was the favorite card or sticker that you managed to get hold of for your personal collection? And it doesn't have to be soccer. It could be something. I've seen you open, or I've seen you receive Formula One cards in your mail days and all kinds. So tough question. Feel free to take some time.
I think so. My first card I ever bought kind of has sort of a special place in my heart, I think, which was the Michael Jordan rookie sticker. So that would probably be up there. I'd say purchase that I bought recently was the Haaland football sticker. I was really, really happy with that. And I'd say my favorite for football would probably be the Sky Sports David Beckham 96 sticker. I think just because the price point I bought that at, and I haven't seen one anywhere near the price I purchased that at. So that would probably be my favorite. I think it just looks the best, and I haven't seen too many people have it in their collection. So I'd say it's fairly rare.
I'm trying to think what it even looks like. Is that in the same collection that is there a Jonah Loma rookie in it or something like that? Is it a mix of sports?
Yeah, that's it. It's a mix of sports. It's a really shiny background, completely shiny, and then it's just got David Beckham. It's a sort of a sideways sticker, probably about this big, really small, a lot smaller than a card.
Oh, right, okay.
And that'll probably be my favorite. I picked it up for £30, and at the time I thought, because it was one of my earlier pickups, and I thought that's quite a lot to spend on a sticker from 1996. I had no idea. Now they're up for sort of £500-600.
Yeah,
I don't think
really?
they've been selling at that, but there's so little of them that I don't know how many others have been sold since I bought one. Probably maybe around the £100 mark. But yeah, the only ones on eBay at the moment are sort of £500-600. But
yeah, you
there are
don't
a
see
lot
many of them.
of eBay sellers out there that do try it. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I've noticed that just looking at different sports within that Sky Sports collection, and like you say, you just don't get many of them out there. So, oh, that's interesting. That's a good little addition. Okay, so going forward then, going into 2021, what is it that you're most excited about in the new year? And you can just say growing your channel if you want.
Yeah, well, do you know what? The first thing that came to mind was actually the Merlin stickers that are coming out. So it's just nothing to do with my channel at all. But yeah, no, my channel definitely. So my channel, I think, would be a big one. The Merlin stickers, I'm really, really excited for. Really excited for those. I'm looking forward to completing the current stickers that I've got, the UCL and the Prem 2021. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing more creators pop up on YouTube. We've seen quite a few new guys pop up towards the end of this year. I'd probably say UK especially, just because I feel like there's kind of quite a fairly small community of people that make YouTube videos at the moment that are based in the UK.
Yeah,
I'd just like to see that grow. I think it is growing daily, but I think it's just I'm excited to just see what other content people have to share and what other collections there are for people to speak about, really, because I think the more creators there are out there, I think the better it is for everyone.
absolutely. We all grow off each other, basically, don't we?
Yeah,
and I think
100%,
sometimes people forget that. It's like I know, for example, when I first started, it's kind of like no experience of YouTube or social media at all, and it was kind of like, well, I can't engage with them because I'm in competition with them. And actually, like, the more you go on, it's like, actually, this is what it's all about. It's all about speaking and engaging with other collectors, people that are enthusiastic about the hobby.
Yeah, definitely.
But also just kind of like, if you don't know one bit of information, then the other person might do, or might have an example of this sticker or card that you're looking for. So yeah, absolutely, completely agree. The more people we can get in the UK, brilliant. And I think there's a lot of, in the UK in particular, I still think there's a lot of vintage stuff that we probably haven't seen, or we think is rare, that maybe isn't that rare because it's just in the hands of maybe like grandparents or older parents that just don't go on social media. And eventually when it gets handed down, maybe we'll see some more of these kind of like, I'm thinking like George Best rookies, for example. And I've always said, I think it's easy to go off population reports, but is that really a true reflection of what it's like in the UK? Who knows? But
I think that's a really good point. I agree. I don't think that's a good representation at all, because cigarette card collections are like so popular, and people still have all their cigarette cards.
yeah,
It's not like, I don't think cigarette cards and stuff like the George Best Rookie are are something that people kept in binders, or something that people kept in the little, like I've got one, so like my granddad passed this to me, and people keep them in kind of like little sheets like this.
yeah.
So that is almost as good as a kind of a sleeve is in kind of our world, a penny sleeve. Whereas I think with like some of the Panini stickers, they were kind of either kept in sticker books, or they weren't necessarily kept to one side. Whereas I think with the cigarette cards, a lot of them probably were kept to one side. I think you're right. I just don't think we've seen some of the older collectors who have all of these cards realize their worth now, since the sort of sports cards and the sort of soccer boom. I guess we could call it, as we all sort of call it soccer now, even though we know it's football. I think since then yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would kind of look at their collections and think, wow, is
Yeah.
my Stanley Matthews rookie really worth that much? Or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which one's his rookie? I've got no idea. So yeah.
exactly. Yeah. You mentioned something there which I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on. So you said about, obviously, vintage cigarette collectors had like the little folders, and that's how they stored them. Obviously, sticker collecting in the UK has typically or traditionally been about sticking in.
Yeah.
Now, a real debate I've had with myself with the Champions League sticker collection from this year actually is, do I stick them in, or do I opt for a binder and kind of stick them in a binder? What is it? What's your approach at the moment? What are your thoughts on that?
I still stick them in. I
Yeah.
did it with I had a, what was it? I had a Haaland, a Reina, and a Camavinga sticker, two Camavinga. I had the shiny one at the back and then the other one. And I got them in opening about 10 packets of stickers or something. And I was just kind of looking at them, just going, do I stick them in? And then I just stuck them in. I just thought, I'll just collect the doubles. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
I saw something really cool that, I don't know if you saw it. LDN Cards shared it. I don't know if it was on Twitter or Instagram, but someone had come up with the idea of sellotaping a penny sleeve into the sticker album, and then just popping the stickers into the penny sleeve on
Yeah.
where they should be.
It was
But I
Mitch
think,
at LDN Cards. Yeah, I saw him. I saw him
yeah,
talk about
was it
it.
him that was actually doing it then, or did he share someone else's
I think he's heard
idea?
it from somebody else. I don't
Right.
know
Okay.
who, but it was Mitch. It was Mitch that I'd heard it from. So credit to Mitch for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I suppose for me, I can understand why you would do that, but there's still something about sticking it in. There's still something
Yeah.
about having that proper completed collection, that completed album, I suppose.
Yeah.
That even sticking a penny sleeve in wouldn't quite do it
No,
for me.
I agree. I think it would just look messy in my eyes. I think it was just the fact of seeing a penny sleeve there, seeing sellotape on there. I think it would just, the visual appeal wouldn't be there. And I think so I got the box of Panini stickers for Christmas, and pretty much spent all of Christmas Day watching. I ended up watching some Euro '96 video that ITV had put out on YouTube, and I love. There's nothing better than either watching a football game, or watching something to do with football, a documentary, or just a
Yeah.
replay of something, a famous event, and then sticking those stickers in at the same time, or even just listening to a podcast and then just sticking those stickers in.
Yeah.
I just haven't. The nostalgia is just, I think, the best thing about it, and I think I've really found that since doing this. I've always collected I stopped collecting the Russia 2018. I don't know why, but I think I kind of just, I don't know. I think I fell out of love with it a little bit. I've always done them ever since 2006. I've never missed a book. But yeah, Russia 2018, I was so slow to complete it, and then I've literally finally just completed it only the other week. So it's
Well
now,
done.
we're going into 2021. We are in 2021. But I think, yeah, just the whole sports cards thing, it's just really brought sort of the love back for it. And I agree with you. I don't think I could put penny sleeves in there. I don't think I could create a binder. It's just not the same, I don't think.
It'd be. I remember posting this ages ago, and I said like, what what if, just imagine somebody goes to the effort of trying to get a complete Panini World Cup collection, PSA 10, like gem mint. Imagine that. But is it realistic? Would it be sought after? I don't know. Just something I thought about ages ago. It'd be expensive. But,
It would be, and I think what would you rather look at? Would you rather look at an old book from 20 years ago where you can just flick through the pages?
Yeah.
Or would you rather kind of a stack of cards that you kind of, I think it's just not
This
the same, but
briefcase
it would
comes
be,
out, yeah.
it would literally have to be 500. They must put like 500 stickers in them now. So yeah, it would be a ginormous set.
Yeah,
And
no, that's a good
you'd have to
point.
slap all the like badges and stuff. It'd be expensive, wouldn't it?
It would be. I think I've kind of changed my mind on that. I won't be be trying to do it. But if anyone does want to do it, let me know. It'd be interesting to follow that journey for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's interesting. We're on the same wavelength there as well then. So at the moment, what are you looking at? What are you buying at the moment, I suppose? Are you kind of moving towards vintage things in terms of kind of, if you want to say investments rather than the collecting side? Because I think, like me, I get this sense that you're a bit of a combination of the two. There's the investor and the collector, and you're kind of somewhere in the middle. So are you focused on vintage more, or are you focused on modern, or is it a bit of a match?
Yeah, so like I was looking at I don't know if you do this, but sometimes, when you kind of go on a bit of a spending spree on eBay, I tend to just look back at my purchases almost like they're in my collection, but they're not. I'm always just looking at my purchases on eBay. If I look at them, I'm sort of scrolling down. Easily, I don't think I bought anything modern in maybe even like the last 30 purchases.
Oh, really?
I think the last modern thing that I bought was on the 20th of December. I bought a fair amount since then. I went on a bit of a sort of a spending spree, and I suppose when you just add things to the cart, it just comes up with one item. It was a Harry Kane Topps Living set.
Okay, that's interesting.
The only reason I picked that up is because there was only 345 printed. So I think with some of the older living set cards, this is kind of a bit of a random tangent I'm going off on here, but with the older living set cards, they're almost like numbered cards.
Yeah, completely.
They just remind me of like out of 500 or like but they just don't have it on the card.
Yeah.
But I think it's just crazy to me that there's only 345 Harry Kane Topps Living set cards out there, and he's likely to break records in terms of goal scoring records and stuff. So that's the last modern card I bought. But other than that, it's all of it has just been vintage.
That's interesting. And the living set, I mean, you'll know I've banged on about living set for so long for that exact reason. They're like numbered cards. And some of the examples, like the early ones, Jadon Sancho, there's like 200 of them. And I know. Mbappe 400. It's crazy.
The Haaland ones are still low as well. Considering the numbers that they get these days.
I remember buying 10 Haalands and thinking like, why am I buying this many? And I even gave one away.
Wow.
My first ever giveaway was a Haaland living set card. And looking back at it now, I'm like, damn, maybe not.
I don't think I was on living set at that point.
Not many.
I don't think I was.
Not many were. Yeah, not many were.
I completely missed out on the Haaland cards. Yeah, at least.
But strange that the Messi card was like what, I think 3,000-4,000. So the first one did obviously get some traction just because it was Messi, and then I think it was like number 3, 4, 5 cards were so low. They obviously carried on, which is great, but yeah, it could have gone different. So that's interesting.
I wonder I've always wondered if there's someone out there with an entire collection that's just been there must be someone that's just collected living set and just bought every single one.
There is one person I know of that's done it.
Is there?
Yeah. I'm not going to say the name of the account in case they don't want to be named, but yes.
Oh, okay. But it's cool that they've bought every single player. They haven't missed a single player.
They've said they haven't missed a player.
Wow.
But if they're listening to this and want to come on and go through it, then get in touch again. It'd be really interesting to do that. There can't be many people.
Good. I wouldn't have thought so.
Because you think to have done that, you have to almost have. Well, the lowest number gives you an idea. I think the lowest print run at the moment is around 94. So unless people are buying on the secondary market, obviously, then there's maybe 94 people that have actually trying to complete the whole set. But it's no mean feat, and it's certainly pretty expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. So obviously I'll move towards vintage. That's interesting, just to get an idea of what you're doing. So we're going to start wrapping this up now. But really quickly, I thought this game is a bit topical at the moment, so I thought we'd put a bit of energy into it and get a really quick thought on this. So we're going to play underrated, overrated.
Okay.
And I think I've got 9 things. And really quickly, I just want your thoughts on whether it's an overrated thing or underrated, obviously. Are you ready?
Yep.
Right, first one. We'll go snappy. Match attacks.
Overrated.
Jaden Sancho.
Underrated.
League One or League Un.
Are we talking about as an investment, or are we talking about as like just things in general, just whether I like them or not?
We'll go for investment. So French First League. This is investment.
Underrated.
Underrated. Futera.
Underrated.
Leeds United.
Underrated.
Maybe I've gone all one direction here. PSA.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're underrated, but I wouldn't say they're overrated either.
Fair enough. Last few. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Overrated.
Pulisic.
Overrated.
Yes. Welcome to the
well
club.
Overrated.
Sorry,
the
America.
most overrated player ever. I'm sorry, but that might burn a few people. But yeah, no, overrated.
This video is definitely getting about 20 thumbs down. But
yeah,
don't
if he wasn't American, people wouldn't care. As much.
I agree. Final one. Panini Donruss.
Underrated.
Underrated. Agree. Yeah, interesting. Some interesting ones there, but generally I'd agree with you. So yeah, a bit of fun, just to get some quick thoughts on a few things. So final thing for today. You've been in the hobby for how long would you say you've been kind of investing, collecting? We'll say investing.
Less than a year, like 10 months, 10 months.
Okay. So what would you say if someone was coming into the hobby today? And was looking for like a takeaway that you've learned over that time, what would be what would it be from you? What would be your kind of key learning point?
Do as much homework as you possibly can. Try not to buy on a whim. If you hear someone say something, don't take it as gospel. Think about it, do your research, do your due diligence. You can never do enough research on one player or one card or one sticker, and use multiple sources as well. So don't just use trading card database. Don't just hear something someone says. Do your own research and be patient as well.
Awesome. That's great advice, Dan.
It's quite a lot of things.
It's all good though. It's good. It's 10. That's what 10 months that teaches you. I completely agree. I think I've been in about the same time, and that would be mine as well. Like, just I remember some of the first things I bought, and it's like I look back now and I'm like, what were you thinking? But anyway,
yeah.
So finally, this is your opportunity to promote yourself. So if people want to find out more about you and about Sports Card UK, where can they go and what will they find?
So you can find me on YouTube. I try and put out 3 videos a week. Podcasts. I'm trying to get as good as a podcast as yours is at the moment. I think yours is fantastic. So I'm trying to model it on that. Well, still. Spotify and iTunes, you can find me on for the podcast. TikTok, I try and upload every day, and Instagram and Twitter as well.
Awesome. Yeah, so definitely go check Dan out at Sports Card UK, guys. Fantastic channel, fantastic person to have in the community. It's been fantastic having you along today, Dan, as well. So thank you for taking the time to join me. I know you're a busy man, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.